What's up, guys? Lee Fry here. Welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, what I'm going to be discussing is camera reviews, tutorials, and the occasional vlog. And today we're going to be talking about my main shooter, the Panasonic Lumix GH4, and whether it still holds up in 2019. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so like I said, we're going to be talking about the Panasonic Lumix GH4, an oldie but a goodie. Again, like I said, it is a 5-year-old camera, and it is a very feature-packed camera that a lot of cameras nowadays, it has more features in it than some of the new cameras coming out nowadays, which is crazy to think of a 5-year-old camera having that much specs. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about about 3 main things I love about this camera and the 3 main things I hate about this camera. So then you can make a decision and think what you want, about this camera, what your feeling is, what you guys think, whether it's a good camera for 2019 or whether you think it's past its prime. Alright, well anyways, let's get started with the things that I like about this camera. The image quality has a very, very, very good image. You can shoot in 4K up to 30 frames per second. You have several different modes: MOV, AVC HD, MP4. You have so many different options that you can shoot in. You could have the Cinema 4K, which is actually 24p, not 23.9 whatever. It's actually 24p. I don't personally use it, but it's nice to have that option, to have that flexibility. To me, that is awesome. Number 2, the thing that I love is all the professional features that this camera has. It has the histogram, so you can adjust the shadows and the highlights, and work on getting that dynamic range where you want it. You have the zebra lines, so it can kind of help with showing you what is overexposed or underexposed, which to me is very beneficial when you're outside in a bright sunny day. You can see the lines, you can kind of tell whether it's whether it's over or underexposed, which is, to me, is a great option. And my number 3 thing that I love about this camera is the build quality. It's not a full plastic body. It's a very sturdy, well built, put together camera. It's weather sealed, so you can take it out in the elements, and it's gonna hold up. It's gonna hold up. So those are the 3 main things. Those are huge deals to me. That's one thing those are things that sold me on this camera. Now we're going to talk about the three things that I don't like about this camera. Number 1, the autofocus. And this isn't just the GH4 thing. This is a whole Panasonic line of cameras issue. They have that contrast-based autofocus, which is not very quick. It hunts. You get the pulsating in the background when it's trying to find focus, and if you shoot in 4K, it struggles a lot when you're trying to shoot in 4K with the autofocus. Me personally, I found my way around it. I do the manual focus, so if I'm holding it out in front, I just I hit the screen and it puts me in focus, and it works. That's how I use it. Or you have the trusty Panasonic app, which I'm using right now to make sure I'm in focus and I can see myself. I'm in focus. So there's workarounds around it. It might sound like a difficult thing for some people, and some people it probably is. You probably just want to. Some people might be able to I want to turn it on, do what it needs to do, and go from there. And that's perfectly fine. Me, I don't like that the autofocus doesn't work, but I've found ways around it to make it work. Number 2, this personally is not a huge deal breaker for me, but it'd be nice if it had it, because I wouldn't have to be as mindful when I'm holding it. It does not have the in-body stabilization. You can kind of get around that if you get lenses like the native Lumix lenses that have the optical image stabilization, but at the end of the day, still, if you're not mindful of if you're holding it like vlogging, you have to be very mindful of how you're holding it, because again, it does not have that in-body stabilization, so it can get very jerky and very shaky if you're not paying attention to it. But at the end of the day, again, It's not a huge deal breaker to me, but I would love it if it did. But again, I'm just, I'm mindful of how I'm holding it. And like, if you guys watch Casey's Neistat, one of his old videos, basically just says, hold the effing camera steady. That's basically it. You just got, if you have a camera that doesn't have the in-body stabilization, you just got to be mindful and hold the dang camera steady. So that's what I recommend on that. And the last thing is slow motion. It does not have a lot of options. You can shoot in 96 frames per second at 1080p, which is decent, but you don't have the options like the the GH5, which I believe can shoot in like all the way up to 240 frames per second, I believe, at 1080p, and 120 frames, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I've thought. I've researched on that. Yeah, and you have in 4K you only have the 30p, and then 1080 you have the 60p. And those things you can work around, but if you're a person that needs to have that 120 frames per second, I am not, but if you are one of those people, it doesn't have it. You can only go up to 96 frames per second. I personally have not even used the 96 frames per second. If I do any slow motion, I usually just do 60p and then slow it down to 24p, so you get that nice smooth slow motion in the video. So that's what I use, but again, if you want that super slow mode, this camera does not have that. Alright, so those are my three main things that I like and the three things that I really don't like about this camera. But at the end of the day, I really love this camera. I love the image quality. I love all the different options I have in this camera. I love the build, and to me those outweigh the negatives. And to me, I believe this camera still holds up in 2019. Again, there's a lot of new cameras coming out that don't have the specs that this thing does. So I definitely think it's worth it. You can get this, I believe, for probably new with the body about $700 versus the GH5, just the body, you're looking at $1,200–1,300. There's used options for both, obviously, but I think it's a steal at the price. I would definitely recommend it. Like I said, it's my main shooter. It's my everyday camera. I love it. Maybe one day down the road I'll upgrade to something a little bit better, but right now I have no problems with this camera. I have no problem saying yes. If someone's like, should I buy the GH4, I would definitely say yes. But at the end of the day, it's really what benefits you, what you're trying to do with your camera. If autofocus and in-body stabilization and slow motion is a huge deal for you, don't get this camera. If that's not as big of a deal for you, if you can find things to work around that like I do, I definitely recommend this camera. Well, anyways, guys, I think that's going to be it. I think we're going to end this video. I hope you guys liked it. There's going to be more videos coming, more reviews, tutorials, occasional vlog here and there. And yeah, they're all coming. I'll probably have another video coming out here in the next couple days, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And if there's anything you guys want to talk about, anything you guys want me to put out there, leave a comment. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and again, leave me a comment, and we'll talk to you guys next time.